Hey, what's up guys? Foodless is back, and today I'm making my favorite stromboli. Favorite meaning I like to use a good variety of meats. I love basil and mushrooms, a good mix of cheeses, provolone and mozzarella, and a really nice scratch-made pizza sauce. And when this all comes together, it might be your favorite too. Stick around, I'll show you how. Alright, we're going to start by making our pizza dough. I have 3.5 cups of bread flour in my mixing bowl. Now there's different flours out there. For example, there's bread flour, pastry flour, you have cake flour, all-purpose flour. And each of them have a different texture based on the amount of gluten they contain. For example, a pastry flour or a cake flour contains less gluten, so it has this real smooth silkiness to it. Bread flour is a little bit coarser because it has a higher gluten content. So bread flour would be considered a harder flour, while pastry and cake flours are softer flours. The reason I prefer the bread flour for a pizza dough is because it has that higher gluten content, and when it gets wet, it has that kind of stringy and elasticy kind of texture to it. There are other flours out there for pizza. For example, if you like a Neapolitan style pizza dough or a thin crust, the 00 flour is probably best for that use. And this is the exact flour I'm using for our pizza dough today. Here we have 1 teaspoon of sugar and 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. I'm going to add that to my flour. This is 1 package of active dry yeast. This is 1.5 cups of warm water that I've heated to about 110 degrees. The reason it's warm is because that yeast needs to activate, and the warm water will help do that. 105 to 110 degrees is probably about the right area. If it's too hot, it'll actually kill the yeast. Now I'm going to slowly add this to my flour. Now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to put about 1 tablespoon of olive oil into the bowl. And with a paper towel, I'm just going to run this around the inside. Put in my dough ball. Now we're going to cover this. Now just place this in a warm environment and let it rise for about 1.5 hours. This is an easy and delicious pizza sauce recipe that starts with San Marzano Organic whole peeled tomatoes. Some fresh basil leaves, about 1 tablespoon of salt. You really need to season this, and just a little pinch of sugar. Now I'll give it a taste. It's almost perfect. I'm gonna add just another touch of salt and it's ready to go. I've just stacked these basil leaves on top of each other. I'm going to roll them up like a cigar. Alright, these are the ingredients we're going to use to fill our stromboli. We have some fresh cut basil that I just did. This is some hand sliced pepperoni. Some prosciutto. This is Calabrese, which is a hard Italian salami. It's got a hot and spicy flavor to it. We have some provolone cheese, some shredded mozzarella. These are just some sauteed mushrooms that I did. And this is an olive oil, parmesan cheese, and dried basil mixture that we're going to use to brush the stromboli with. Our pizza dough has finished proofing. Let's take a look. It definitely has doubled in size. Let's remove the dough from the bowl and go ahead and cut it up and get it stretched out. I put some parchment paper on my work surface, and the reason I did that is once we get this filled and rolled out, I can pick this parchment paper up and transfer it to the cooking sheet. This dough is definitely bigger than I need, so I'm going to cut it in half and I'm going to reserve the rest. I'll make pizza later this week. I'm going to begin to shape my dough so I can fill it. I floured my work surface. I'm just going to stretch this out to the right size that I want. Alright, so we've got our dough right where we want it to be. We're going to put all our ingredients on top. We're going to roll it up, pop it in a 375-degree oven for about 18 to 20 minutes, and we'll have stromboli. And there it is, my favorite stromboli. By the way, I did end up cooking this for about 28 minutes, a little bit longer than I thought. This thing was pretty big. I wanted to make sure everything was nice and cooked in the inside, nice and brown on the outside. And if you like great kitchen content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We'll put out a weekly video. You get to watch for free. Wow. Cheers. Wow. That is just so cheesy. Those meats are perfect. It's so flavorful. That sauce that I made is absolutely fantastic. My wife's drooling over here. She's telling me to wrap it up. It is amazing. And that's how that one goes.